Welcome to the 3 Knockdown Rule. Starring Mario Lopez and Steve Kim. Presented by Hustler Casino.
Hey guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to our show on YouTube. It's fun. It's funny. I break this guy's balls. His wig looks crazy every week, but it's still worth doing it. Check out these badass shirts we got right now. Check it out.
Even though Mario's on it, you'll still learn something, and it's still some insightful analysis. And then I bring the funny, and I don't know what he brings.
No.
What are you talking about? I'm the star of the show here.
You bring the grumpy.
Oh, but the grumpy. Anyway, like and subscribe.
Yes,
3
please.
Knockdown
We
Rule.
appreciate you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 3 Knockdown Rule is back in effect, brought to you by Hustler Casino. I'm Steve Kim, joined by Mario 139.3 Lopez. What a snafu.
That was like my freshman wrestling weight when I was in high school. Thank you, Kemster. More on that later. And on the ones and twos, Smoking Tim Frazier.
The bout sheet for this week's show, Buzzkill in Norfolk. We have the fight review, preview, Ask Mario, and final flurries.
Show's also brought to you by LifeRx.md. Summer's coming. It's time to get your body right. If you're trying to lose weight, look and feel your best, our partners here at LifeRx.md will connect you with a licensed telehealth provider in your area that'll create a custom treatment plan that is best for you. So go to LifeRx.md and use code 3KR and get your initial consultation for $49.95. Personal plan just for you.
And this podcast is brought to you by Hustler Casino. Join us Sunday, June 22nd as Hustler Casino celebrates 25 years of big wins and unforgettable jackpots as LA's only luxury casino. They're marking the occasion with over $55,000 in cash giveaways, free cake, and exciting prizes. Start playing now to earn entries for the big prize drawings happening that day. See you there.
Round one.
All right, we begin round number 1 from the Scope in Norfolk, Virginia. I think the worst ending to a homecoming since the conclusion of Kerry. Keshan Davis did not make any defense, or his first defense, not even the last defense of his WBO lightweight title, as he comes in, Mr. Lopez, at 4.3 pounds, and eventually the camp of Edwin De Los Santos said, forget it, we're out of here. Mario, first of all, did you agree with that decision?
On Edwin De Los Santos' part, absolutely. He weighed in at a full other weight class. It's like he didn't even try to make weight. And I was shocked because I didn't particularly see any signs of Keshan leading up to this was this type of behavior. It was a homecoming. I believe city officials named the week after him, gave him the key of the city. We have so few American stars, and he was poised to sort of break out, and he had the stage set for him. And somehow he blew it. And I should say, kind of chose to blow it. How are you that far off? I'm sort of baffled by this because, again, I didn't see a pattern leading up to this where he would completely waste this golden opportunity. And unfortunately, I don't think he ever gets a moment like this again. And I know we'll get to it later before we get to the rest of the fights. On top of the whole thing was weird. He weighed in really heavy, and then he hit him with the double bicep pose as if to say, you know, here I am, come get me, but you didn't weigh in at the same time.
Read the room, buddy.
Read the room.
That
was not a good look. I did not understand that. His brother went on to fight, lost, and then they had that drama and tussle. I couldn't believe my eyes. They got crazy. There was a baby in the stroller. They're taking him out. It was the weirdest thing, so incredibly poorly handled and just really, really disappointing. De Los Santos, who looked like a ghost, killing himself.
Gaunt.
So gaunt. But you know what? He was professional. He did what he had to do. He made that weight. And from what I hear, Top Rank rewarded him with his purse, which I believe was around $400,000. So not bad to cut that weight. And good for him. Because we have to start standing up and pushing back against this. So many times now, people have used this as
They've weaponized it.
They've weaponized it. I remember Mayweather doing it against Marquez with several pounds, and he had the money to pay him several hundred thousand.
Ryan Garcia did it last year.
Ryan Garcia just did it this last year. Didn't Shakur Stevenson?
He lost his title to Robson Fonseca.
Exactly. It's just, there's got to be stiffer penalties. And I think this was handled perfectly on the De Los Santos camp. Aside from missing the weight, Keshan Davis did not do himself any favors, wilding out with his brother backstage. I'm just blown away and so disappointed because this could have been such a pivotal moment in his career to really launch him and showcase an American boxer. I don't know if he ever gets the opportunity again.
This was worse in terms of personal brand dissension since maybe Rachel Zegler in the lead up to Snow White.
That's a very good point because they both, you know what, Kim, that's a good analogy because they both sabotaged themselves. It had nothing to do with someone else. It was themselves. There was no judges to blame. Everything was there for them, and they did it themselves. I'm blown away.
And he lost more than just a $1.2 million payday. The public perception of what people think of him right now is priceless, and it's bad priceless.
Right.
And the other thing is we have enabled this in terms of fighting on while you don't make weight. I think it's always been ironic. You put the pressure on the guy that starved himself, was in a sauna for 3 hours, who's probably not making as much money to save the show. Well, wait a minute. Why is that guy being punished? And I know they get a few extra bucks, but I remember when Oscar Valdez fought Scott Quigg, 3 pounds over, broke his jaw. We were there that rainy night at StubHub Center.
Absolutely.
Now, the other thing that's interesting is we have enabled this to a point of entitlement where when Keshan was immediately interviewed by Christina Poncher at the weigh-in, he almost had an attitude like, don't worry about it. I'm good. We're going to fight on. Again,
because of the pattern shown. Another one that came to mind, too, I remember, I think it was the second or the third fight, Jose Luis Castillo with Diego Corrales.
Well, the second one, Castillo was heavy. The third one, I remember me and Doug were driving up to Vegas. Now, this is before the internet and social media was really a big thing. We find out about an hour from Vegas after we've already driven, hey, guys, the fight's going to be canceled. And I'll never forget, Gary Shaw and Bob Arum were the co-promoters. Really big crowd for the weigh-in. And there's this buzz going, uh-oh, something. Both Gary and Bob had to go up there, and they made this public announcement. There is no main event. We're very, and people were pissed.
I bet they should be.
But they said, we're going to have the undercard, and you know what? You people can still enjoy a great night of boxing. So the next night at the Thomas and Mack Center, there may have been 500 people, and I remember Vic Darchinian was like the main card.
Yeah.
And I'm looking, it was the most depressing night where I'm just looking going,
You still went.
well, yeah, I was there. I cover boxing theoretically.
You're an hour away. Right.
Maury, here's the funniest thing. I said to myself, all of these people that still showed up, they should get like a voucher, like $1,000 worth of tickets, because it was, and I believe that the boxing business at that point had an unwritten rule. Without the main event, there is no show. We have to be honest about it. There is no show without the main event.
In boxing, that's the case. As you know, in MMA, that is not. But I like the way everything was handled this past weekend. He still got paid. The fight didn't go on. Aside from the fact that he was acting like a hooligan in the backstage, I thought Top Rank handled that beautifully, and now there should be repercussions.
Well, here's the thing. Is it the state commission's job? Is it the legal authorities in Norfolk, Virginia? Because you could argue there was a simple assault. And does Top Rank take discipline? Because that is their client in Keshan Davis.
I think all of the above to really send the message.
Yeah.
To really send the message. Because this is, correct me if I'm wrong, his first sort of infraction in this space.
No. Well, here's the thing. He had a fight with Nahir Albright, who beat his brother. They had a close fight with Keshan. Guess what? No contest because he had a marijuana bust. Now, again, marijuana is not a PED, but there have been some issues with Keshan. But let's get into the night. Abdullah Mason was bumped up as the main event. I thought he looked very solid against Jeremiah Nakatila. He might be ready for a title shot here.
I think so as well. I like the kid. He continues to ascend and stay in the right direction and improve. And what a polar opposite as far as how he carried himself. The conduct, his team. It was such a stark contrast, and it wasn't supposed to be his night, but he stole the night. And in the lead up, I think he was calling out Mason a little bit too.
Well, that's the thing with Keshan. He kind of blitzed him, and the kid's like, well, I'm just trying to get my career going.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he says about Raymond Murataya, well, I'm not going to pay for another belt. Yeah. Wait a minute. So you call out the prospect, but then you're saying you don't want to do unification bouts with the guy that's in your company. That's a very easy fight to make. Abdullah Mason's like a sports car, and he's showing brakes. He's not rushing into things. He's quick, but he's not in a hurry. Wide variety of punches, speed, quickness. He's got some imagination. He's got power. And I believe the WBO has made it clear that is now a vacant title. And he is number 2. So he does get, I believe, first dibs along with Sam Noakes, the number 1 contender, for that vacant title. I believe Abdullah Mason is a blue chip Apple stock from about the year 2005. Now, here's the other half of the story. Now, here Albright out of Philly does the damn thing, beats Kelvin Davis. It should not have been a split decision or a majority decision. I thought he clearly won 7 to 8 rounds. It turns out it's like the Von Erichs. When you face one Davis brother, you face all of them, and you can now make an argument because it was Keon Davis who won on the undercard, along with Keshan. Now this is strange. The locker rooms are right next to each other. Hey Scope, you security much? I mean,
yeah. What caused that? Was there something said from another camp, or they just approached him and didn't like that he won?
According to Albright in the post-fight interview with the media, he just said our dressing rooms, our locker rooms are together. I think they heard us celebrating, but according to him, there was no taunting, wasn't in their face. And when the two brothers came in, he thought, oh, they're here to congratulate me.
Yeah.
And he said just by their tone and their mood, he got headbutted by Keshan. He went all Coco Beware, and then they separated him. And then,
because he had that bump.
right, and then you saw the footage afterwards in the hallway where the little child was involved, and Keshan gets escorted out of the venue.
Where he was supposed to headline. Dude got the key to the city, then almost had a key to the jail.
Yeah.
Wow. I'd love to know Bob Arum's thoughts on this.
No, first of all, I know for a fact Bob Arum was not happy. One of the reasons why, because he doesn't think he tried to make weight, I believe. And Delos Santos' people, I believe that they would have been amenable to getting paid a lot more if they would have thought that guy tried to make weight. He's actually draining himself, but then our guy looks like a prisoner of war.
Right.
We don't want to risk it. I don't blame them at all.
So, do you not ever let him even try to compete at lightweight again?
No.
Or you force him?
Oh, no.
That's it, right? You
He
force
himself
him.
said I grew out of the weight. Okay, then we're going to take your word for it.
And you got to say that a week or so ahead of time. Maybe you do a catch weight, but not on the day and think you can cut. Again, try to weaponize it. Okay, so long gone are lightweight days. Now we're junior welter from now on.
Well, Mario, he weighed in at 139.3. So he was basically a junior welterweight.
That's what I'm saying.
Think about it, because he's only
gone,
0.7. That's over with. And I don't want to hear this inactivity. Mario, that was supposed to be his third fight since November. There is no excuse, and I don't know how or why Keshan Davis acted the way he did, but I think it's going to be a long road back. We'll be back with more of the 3 Knockdown Rule, brought to you by Hustler Casino.
Catch it streaming live right on YouTube.
Welcome to the big leagues, kid.
$1.2 million.
And I'm losing in this fucking game. What the fuck?
There's a 400K flip. If I win by way, you get 10 grand.
Fucking straddle!
For my fans!
What? I read it twice!
Wow. All in a call.
I'm not fucking leaving!
Raise it up.
Hey guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to our show on YouTube. It's fun. It's funny. I break this guy's balls. His wig looks crazy every week, but it's still worth doing it. Check out these badass shirts we got right now.
Here's the
Check
thing,
it out.
even though Mario's on it, you'll still learn something, and it's still some insightful analysis, and then I bring the funny, and I don't know what he brings.
No.
What are you talking about? I'm the star of the show here.
You bring the grumpy.
Oh, but the
You
grumpy,
bring the grumpy.
anyway,
I'll bring
like
the charm
and subscribe.
Yes,
3
please.
Knockdown
We
Rule.
appreciate you.
Review preview.
All right, here we go. Saturday from Britain on the Zone. Mario, I believe Fabio Wardley may have scored the knockout of the year. And I'll tell you why. It's not just about the way it looked, because there might be more devastating knockouts. But when you're down and you hit the 10-run home run against Justice Hooney, wow.
That's the beautiful thing about boxing, is that one punch can change everything. You can't come back. As opposed to, football, any sort of team sport, the clock's against you. And essentially the clock's against you here. But you can hit, like you said, that 10-run home run. And it was a beautiful, sneaky overhand right. Caught him right on the button, and that was all she wrote. And man, what a knockout.
Sometimes it's not about how you throw a punch, but where and when. And Hooney kind of got caught up in that no man's land.
Yeah.
And I thought he fought a great fight. From the third round on, I thought he was dominating, controlling the action more and more, and it looked like unless Wardley lands the miracle punch, it's over. Guess what? He landed the miracle punch, and Wardley
kept his hand right in the middle.
Absolutely. The time of the stoppage, 89-82 twice, 88-83. Oh, Hooney drowned 5 feet from shore.
Oh, that's tough. That's tough.
And then Sunday morning from Ariake Coliseum, from the land of the rising sun on ESPN+, Junto Nakatani is the latest unified champion in boxing and now the Ring Magazine bantamweight champion of the world, knocking out Ryosuke Nishida in 6 rounds. Mario, I've said this in the past. I don't think I've ever seen a fighter replicate what he does in training on the heavy bag and shadow boxing the way Nakatani does, the way he punches.
Well, credit to Rudy Hernandez, who has prize pupil and these sort of unions, Pacquiao, Freddie Roach, Hernandez, Nakatani. When they click, and he's really making a lot of noise. And he's so far he's like fighter of the year sort of candidate with the way his performances have turned out.
He's had 2 fights. If it was up to Rudy, he'd probably fight twice more. The question is, how much longer can he make 118? He's so big and rangy. I mean, Nishida was tough. He actually touched up Nakatani a few times. But the difference in power and then Nishida's right eye because of the left.
Right.
But I don't think anyone is an uppercut merchant the way Nakatani is. I mean, he just plants his feet and he's just coming up with that thing like a shiv. So Nakatani is one step closer to that showdown with the monster Inoue. Mario, I'm hearing more and more.
Ooh.
We may have to take a trip.
Cinco de Mayo style.
We may have to take a trip. Little Sapporo.
Bonsai.
Little bonsai. Yeah, anyway. And then Sunday, land down under in Australia, the game's best cruiserweight, Jai Opataya, with a knockout in 5 over Claudius Cuello. Mario, if Zurdo wins on the 28th, I would be very disappointed in Golden Boy and Zurdo if they don't take on Opataya. These 2 guys have the 4 belts. I don't want to hear about Jake Paul. Let's do Opataya.
Yeah, Zurdo has a tough task in front of him right now. That's the truest puncher that he's faced.
You mean the fight or the weight?
Both.
Man, he's big.
Both.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, both. Well, I know we're going to get Julian Chua in here hopefully this next week, and we'll break it all down. But I think Zurdo, for his size, he's elusive. He's quick on his feet. He's crafty in there, but he's facing his first real puncher. And if he's able to get past that, look, you can't blame him if for some reason Jake Paul is foolish enough to want to fight him because that's a big money fight for him.
It's a money business.
It's a money business. If that doesn't happen, though, yes, I agree with you. Opataya all day.
Also, fight preview this Saturday from the Madison Square Garden Theater on the Zone for the IBF Junior Welterweight Champion. Richardson Hitchens defends against George Kambosos. Mario, has any fighter in recent memory parlayed one great night into 5 other paydays quite like our guy Kambosos?
Listen, I like Kambosos. He is a warrior. He goes out there well prepared all the time. Doesn't always get the W, but he gives an honest effort. And he's always a gentleman to speak highly of his opponents. So, yeah, good for him. I like to see good guys win.
But he's pulled up a stool to Last Chance Saloon.
Yeah.
George, you got to make it happen here, brother.
Hey, the 15 minutes of an hour and a half.
Yeah, Andy Warhol says he's looking at his clock. On the 3 Knockdown Rule. Hey, folks, are you looking to get involved with 3 Knockdown Rule and sponsor our show? We have some spots available. Please email us at info@boxbid.io. Once again, that's info@boxbid.io. Boxbid is an online platform that helps professional boxers connect with their fans by providing exclusive Fight Week merchandise, memorabilia, and sponsorships. You can even buy a shout-out on boxbid.io, which handles our sponsorships, and we are proudly working with boxbid.io. And we're back on the 3 Knockdown Rule to the Ask Mario segment of this fine program from Alan Surfs Up. Question. should Keshan Davis be suspended? And the question part is for how long? It was simple assault.
Well, that's interesting because when he said suspended, I initially thought because of missing the weight.
I've never actually seen that, though. A fighter gets suspended for missing weight. I mean,
but there should be some sort of consequence.
Right.
Don't you agree?
Just like mental health, if you claim it, you should be going to a rehab. I'm with you on that.
If you miss the weight, I feel you shouldn't be allowed. I don't know what the consequence is.
Well, you're forced to move up in weight.
You're forced to move up in weight.
Yeah.
Number one, you never again can go fight at that original weight. And number two, I feel there should be at least like a 6-month suspension or something. You wasted a lot of time and effort and money, bro. There's got to be something severe to discourage that behavior.
If I'm Albright, and I think his representatives have talked about it, don't rule out legal action.
You're okay. Now you're talking about the assault part,
right?
Yes, I was talking about the weight part, addressing that in and of itself. Now, aside from the from that, and you're getting into the shenanigans backstage. Then that's on Albright. We'll see how
There's
that happens.
more than just boxing issues involved.
Well, the thing is, everything was caught on camera,
Yeah.
so you can't dispute it. It's not a he said, she said thing.
Folks, me and Mario were watching the UFC and boxing, and then we didn't have the volume on, so when they interviewed Albright with Mark Kriegel, he wasn't that happy, and I didn't know why, and I'm thinking, man, Albright's a serious guy. I mean, he's already focused on the neck. I had no idea what was going on.
And then we turned it on.
And then there was a break, and Bernardo Osuna goes, okay, now we got to get to what happened backstage, and me and you were kind of like, what? And we're kind of in awe over how this weekend imploded.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
What a drastic change of events.
Here's one from Matty Rolls. With the Davis brothers seemingly imploding, this weekend, does that give you pause on the potential ceiling on a guy in Keshan who had looked to be rising quickly?
Yeah, again, it was disappointed because I did think Keshan he is a talent, but I thought he had all the intangibles. It looked like
star
that was
quality.
The star quality. But no, this is a major red flag. It's a monkey wrench. So he's got to look at himself in the mirror and make some serious adjustments and have it come to Jesus.
There's something about this Gen Z, from Teofimo to Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis. There's something off about these guys.
Also, when you do fight in your hometown, I know we've talked about how it can add a lot of pressure, and it can be more of a distraction, a deterrent than sort of an aid and a compliment to your star power. And some guys maybe just can't handle it. You feel like you got to keep it real with the homies.
But Mario, he did the thing on November. This was not a first homecoming. It's not like he had never been through the process before.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Then I'm not looking to make excuses. I was just, again, very surprised.
And sometimes it's not just about the talent. You got to have the temperament and you got to have the stability. And what I saw this weekend, or that whole week, and what I heard, very, very alarming. Here's one from Frank Poultry as another side of things. Totally respect De Los Santos' decision to pull out of Saturday's main event, and nobody knows how these conversations went. I personally would have done the same, but wouldn't Top Rank have been better off paying him extra to save the show as opposed to giving him his full purse to cancel? Maybe they just didn't want to deal with Davis after the weight miss, but I would argue they gave De Los Santos a financial incentive to pull the plug. It's definitely a gray area. Your thoughts?
I love the way they handled it. I don't think you can risk putting a fighter like that in a dangerous, precarious position. I remember going way back when Ray Leonard was going to fight Tommy Hearns, and Tommy Hearns was coming in like a half pound overweight. Made him lose it, did not want to negotiate, did not want to, that's how big of a difference it makes at that level. 4.5, another weight class, bro, it's too much. It's too much.
Two words, Gaddy Gamache. And that wasn't even 4.5 pounds. And look, Joey Gamache was a good fighter. He was moving up in weight, a 2-time world champion. Yeah. What happened on that night should have given everyone pause. Wait a minute, guys. Let's have no more of the shenanigans, because Ryan Garcia came in about 3 pounds over on purpose. Devin Haney and his father were so arrogant, they thought they could beat him with a 20-pound weight advantage. They couldn't. What do we say? There's weight classes for a reason. Absolutely. And you know this as a combat athlete. You've done it. It's the last 2-3 pounds that changes your body. It changes your insides. It absolutely matters. Here's one from Ryan Longer. Hey, guys, whatever happened to Tecate advertising on boxing cards? Used to be a staple. Haven't seen in a long while.
Hey, you're right. They did used to be a staple.
I still have the souvenir cups. Used to do.
I remember that. Yeah, the big.
Still use them.
I haven't seen it in years, as a matter of fact. I don't know why they decided to sort of get out of it. Huh. I can appreciate a good tecate when it's cold outside. I mean, when it's hot outside, you want a nice cold beer?
There used to be a time, any major
Remember that? It was all over the place.
Any major show in America, from Tom Loeffler to Top Rank to anybody, Tecate would be on the ring apron, the ring ropes. They'd give you souvenir cups. I heard it was a corporate decision. It's just like, let's just pull out.
Wow, that's interesting. Modelo has since sort of taken over.
If you watch any fight from the 80s or 90s,
Tecate.
Budweiser, Miller, Coors Light, so this is nothing new.
Yeah.
Companies get in, companies get out. Here's one from, the only Sanch. Personal question, kind of a Dear Abby thing here. Ask that former teen heartthrob, Mario Lopez, how do you handle a toxica who don't want to accept you're broken up? We need his former Sancho advice.
Ooh. Hey, first of all, sounds like you put it down real good, player, if she's not trying to let go of you. You gotta be cool, remain a gentleman, and don't respond in a mean.
Keep it civil.
Keep it civil and
diplomatic.
Yeah, don't. You don't want to be a dick about it,
right?
Because that can come back and haunt you.
Yes.
You don't want her claiming anything.
Hell hath no fury.
Hell hath no fury. You just got to be patient. Take the lumps. Take the beating in the corner, player. Then come out and live to see another round.
Yeah. Here's one from Anson Wright from Ring Magazine, good buddy of mine. In deference to the late great Mike McCallum, what happens if he fought the Fab Four? How does each fight turn out? Well, I know this. Emmanuel Stewart had both guys at Kronk, Hearns and McCallum, and I've actually seen sparring footage. Emmanuel Stewart knew how difficult that fight was going to be, and he said, no, thank you. Ray Leonard was never going to risk it because risk versus reward. Roberto Duran was the champion after he beat Davey Moore. His number one contender was Mike McCallum, and he basically said no. Not no mas. He just said no. Hagler, I think, would have been too big and strong for him. Mike McCallum, the late great body snatcher, is one of the 15 to 20 best fighters I've ever seen.
Great nickname.
Such a craftsman. And unfortunately, it's a blessing and a curse that the greatest compliment you can give him is the Four Kings wanted no part. Problem is, you don't get paid off of that.
Exactly. I remember seeing footage of him and James Toney sparring at Kronk, too.
Yes.
Ooh, that was some
James
damn
Toney
sparring.
says to this day, that's the best guy I ever faced. He has more respect for those. I tell young boxers, you want to learn the art of boxing?
Watch those guys.
Watch those two grandmasters. Yep. And by the way, this guy fought Harold Graham in England. He fought Michael Watson in England. Then he fought Mickey Ward, an Irish guy, in Boston. Forget Mel Gibson.
Road warrior.
That's the road warrior. So long live the great body snatcher.
Final flurries.
Snatcher. Mario, real quick, final flurries. You started something. You didn't eat yesterday. The fast.
Yeah, so it was my first day ever doing the 24-hour fast.
Wow.
I got to tell you, here's how the thing. So, I had my last meal around, what was it, 8? Because we had that pie late.
8:15ish.
Yeah, all right, so I did 8. And then the next day, I didn't have my first meal till 8. I was fine in the morning. You can still have coffee. Yeah. I was fine in the morning, and then I did my little workout. But the problem was I had a lot to do that day. I was running around with my son and doing a bunch. And then I did start to feel a little fatigued towards the end and not so much hungry, but just
lightheaded
and weak. So by the time I did eat, it was all Italian food, so I was crushing it. And then I felt really tired. Now, they said you were going to wake up feeling great today. I did wake up feeling, I guess, pretty good.
There's clarity in your mind.
Yeah, I think next time I won't try to be as physically active. If you can just chill,
you know what I've been
then
told?
I think it's a difference.
You know what
I mean?
I've
you
been
can't
told,
you can't be active.
Mario, I've been
when
told in
you're
a
eating.
24-hour fast, if you're going to do that once a week, do it on the days you don't work out.
Yeah.
Specifically.
Right. No, I was told that too. They said a light walk, but I figured, okay, I'm going to get up. I'll just have it. And you're right. Maybe it'll be a nice
Because I do the
workout.
intermittent fasting, and the more I do it, I could now go 18, 19 hours, not just 16, because your stomach actually adjusts.
It does. Like for this morning, for example, my breakfast, I was kind of full and I was forcing myself to eat it. It kind of shrinks everything. So we'll see. I'll give it another week. Your
body will adjust, as will your stomach. And by the
will.
way, you'll be healthier. People don't realize breakfast was a corporate marketing tool that everyone bought into.
And they ended up saying it was the most important meal of the day. Well, for example, today, doing some jujitsu, I got my final stripe, by the way.
Congratulations on that.
Thank
You're
you.
belted.
Next one's brown. So you do feel a little bit, you feel good, but that's what I did on Sunday as well. You feel a little out of it. I think if you're able to just kind of chill or have a non-physical day, I think it complements you a lot better.
Final thing, Mario, I actually started something on your recommendation. I'm 2 episodes in. I'm hooked.
What's that?
Mobland.
It's good, isn't it?
I like Henry.
Yeah.
Henry's a doer. He's a go-getter. He's kind of like the Ray Donovan guy.
Are you doing it without the subtitles?
I was thinking about it. That's a heavy, thick
Bro,
British
those are
accent.
heavy, thick accents. Bro.
I haven't seen Pierce Brosnan in years.
He's good. Him and Helen Mirren are good. Now,
But who runs that family?
They're supposed to be. She does. Helen Mirren. They're supposed to be Irish, so they're Irish, and the rest are British.
Poor
But I couldn't understand. I had to put the subtitles.
Poor Arch. I don't want to give away, but poor Arch.
Right?
Oh, he just had a little concern.
So we're at the same point. I only saw 2 as well.
Okay. Oh wow.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, Arch, just simmer down.
Yeah,
You're not
exactly.
the boss.
Take it easy.
But do you think Arch was actually like not loyal? I'm just like, wait a minute, I'm not. Because even Henry's like, are you?
You know what? The wife knows.
Right.
Like my wife sort of sees some things. She's watching with me.
Yeah.
She goes, there's some guys in your life,
Yeah.
and I go, believe me, I know.
Yeah.
I just keep him around for certain reasons. And then she's like, and so she just didn't like it. She goes, he may be your friend, but he's weak, and I don't trust him. And so that's why they did away with him.
I'm gonna knock one out every day this week.
Yeah.
And so there's 10 episodes in season 1,
Right.
so I'll be done with it by next Sunday. But quality, Mobland.
Okay,
Check
good,
it out,
good,
folks,
good,
on
good. I'm glad you're
Paramount
into
Plus.
it.
All right, well that's it for this week's edition of the 3
And you like the
Knockdown.
UFC?
It was a good card.
It's a good card.
But I really like the fried chicken.
Hey,
that was
all
a
right.
all right. Anyway, this has been it for 3 Knockdown Rule, brought to you by Hustler Casino. Spokes, if you want to sponsor our show, email us at info@boxbid.io. Till next week, goodbye, everybody.
Hey guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to our show on YouTube. It's fun, it's funny. I break this guy's balls. His wig looks crazy every week, but it's still worth doing it. Check out these badass shirts. Check it out.
Even though Mario's on it, you'll still learn something. And it's still some insightful analysis. And then I bring the funny, and I don't know what he brings. What are you talking about? I'm the star of the show here.
You bring the grump.
Oh, I put the grumpy. Anyway,
I'll bring
like
the
and
grump.
subscribe.
Yes,
We like that.
we appreciate it.